This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. On the phone, I've got the Magic Man himself, Mr. Paulie Malignaggi. How are you, sir?
I'm good, mate. What's going on?
All good, all good. Obviously, Paulie, you've been in the boxing news media for the last few weeks, especially more so since you left the McGregor camp.
Another thing about me, somehow I'm always in the media. I don't understand it either. I'm like a Kardashian.
Which one?
I don't know. If I had to be a Kardashian, which one would I be?
Paulie, only one place to start, really. How did you feel first about Dana White releasing that short bit of footage with you and Conor sparring, which has got everyone talking?
Well, you know, I can't say I'm surprised by Dana's sneakiness. You know, I mean, listen, anybody that watches UFC knows how sneaky he is. I mean, they still choose to cheer for him and love him. I don't even know he's fucking their own fighters, but you know, I can't say I was shocked. I mean, listen, Dana White is the kind of guy who's very manipulative, very sneaky, one of the more dishonest people in combat sports. Guys like him are the reason they made the Muhammad Ali Act 4 in boxing, so it should be definitely put into place ASAP in mixed martial arts.
When we first saw the picture of you on the canvas, obviously there was a lot said between you and Conor's camp about that. Did you believe that the footage, or some footage, they would sort of release at some point after that initial picture went out?
You know, I wasn't sure, because honestly, I didn't realize they were actually recording the sparring. I knew there was a camera recording the sparring as a surveillance camera, which is the security cameras inside the gym, so I knew video existed. I didn't know that the guys with the cameras off to the sides of the ring were also recording, because I had been assured that those guys were just taking pictures. Not that it matters, but I wanted there to be video somehow if something sneaky came up. I just, obviously, I'm not really going to get to see it if they edit it this way, you know? But I can't say I was surprised, and you know, I can't say anything surprising, because you know, you're dealing with Dana White here, who's obviously a sneaky prick. Conor McGregor is almost has woman-like qualities in that, you know, he's almost like a gossip woman, like a wash woman, you know, where you know how like wash women and gossip women, they kind of make stuff up as they go along, and they distort the truth and they distort the facts and so on and so forth, and just to make things interesting for them, you know. I think, you know, there's a lot of feminine qualities in Conor McGregor, but you know, that's up to him.
I mean, the main reason why you decided to leave the camp, can you just tell me the main reason you decided? I mean, we know that the footage subsequently and also the original photos had something to do with it, but the main reasons why you left camp.
I think there was a be-all end-all to it for me, you know, where it was just annoying, but there was a lot of things involved, and it kind of just built up to the point where I said, you know what, this is just not here. I'm just not here for this. You know, if I stay here, they're going to continue to make my life miserable. You know, that last day I was there, they told us to show up to the gym at 3:30 only to tell us we couldn't work out. Like, they made us show up to a gym at a different time than our schedule, just to tell us when we got there we weren't allowed to work out. You know, so it was like little games they were playing. You know, the home they had us staying in looked like a crack house. You know, then they tried to play to the media like, you know, it was the other house the trainers were staying at. Like, that was the place I was staying at. It wasn't. I was in some ghetto area house. You know, and I hadn't complained about that either. You know, then the pictures came out. You know, it was a lot of things, making me spar 12 rounds right off a cross-country flight. You know, I did it, but you know, I knew the intentions weren't very good when they had me do it. You know. Well, so, you know, like I said, I'm a team player once I'm in camp, you know. I'll try to give you what you need, you know. I just felt like it wasn't about being a team player here. It was about, there was a hidden agenda that they had, and I just wasn't going to win if I stayed there, you know. And when I got there, I didn't know it was about winning and losing for me, honestly. I thought it was just about, you know, being, you know, just involving and, you know, doing my part to spar, and that's it. You know, I don't care whether you ask for my opinion on tactical stuff or not. I didn't care about any of that, you know. But once I realized there was a hidden agenda there, I said, you know, this is just going to go from bad to worse here. There's nothing. I don't need to be here.
I mean, let's talk about, Paulie, the controversial pushing shot, and now the footage. From certain angles, it can be sort of taken one way. From other angles, it can be taken another. But from the actual edit that we've seen from what Dana White put out, how do you think that looks to people?
In real speed, I gotta be honest, it was edited so well that in real speed, I had to look at it 2 or 3 times myself, because I was like, wait a minute, this is not what happened, you know? Then once you slow it down, you start to realize it's all bullshit, and it started to come back to me the exact way that it happened, you know? Because, you know, and sometimes in the moment, you feel like it happened one way, but it happened a little bit different, or slightly changed just a little bit. One thing I was sure of, that no punches landed, you know? That's one thing I was sure of. And if you watch the video, whether you're watching it in slow motion or not, nobody around the ring even reacts. Because there's no need to react. It's a simple push down, slide down, whatever you want to call it, you know? So you know, if people in a boxing gym, I've been in boxing gyms my whole life. If a guy gets dropped sparring, which isn't very often, but if a guy gets dropped sparring, the faces on the sides of the ring change. You know, there's a reaction there, you know? Nobody reacts when I go down in that footage, because in real time, live, it was a very nonchalant moment that happens in a sparring gym, you know, several times a day among hundreds of sparring sessions that happen, you know? So you know, it was something that I thought to myself, wow, this edit is so good that it's actually making it look like the possibility of a real knockdown even happened. You know what I'm saying? When in real time, in live time, when you were there, nobody even thought twice about what it was. You know what I'm saying? It was your basic slip down, you know, caused by him, me trying to pull away from him, pulling out the back of my neck, and, you know, the momentum put me down. I thought it was a very well done edit. Dana White talks about Steven Spielberg. Dana White's more like the Pillsbury Doughboy than Steven Spielberg, if you really want to look at it. You know, I mean, the guy's the only guy in Vegas who needs a tan with all that sun there, and he gained about 100 pounds in the last year. So the ugly fuck has to understand that, you know, it's not about his editing. It's about, you know, they have the money to get the proper guys to edit the video, and that's what they did.
So on that particular day, how many minutes of sparring, or how many rounds did you do particularly that day?
We did 12 rounds. We did 36 minutes total.
So what haven't we seen then? What can you, in your opinion, what haven't we seen? We've seen literally about 30 seconds of footage.
You didn't see the fact that Conor didn't even get the best of that sparring. You know what I'm saying? You didn't see anything. You didn't see the fact that, think about it, you have 36 minutes to choose from, and they could not find even 20 seconds running concurrently. 20 seconds out of that whole sparring, out of 36 minutes of sparring, they could not find 20 seconds in a row in running concurrently where he has a clear advantage throughout that 20 seconds. They had to copy, paste, splice up, edit footage from round 12, which is when I was tired, and I admitted it from the very beginning. I hadn't won round 12. They had to take it and link it to the part of the round, the other round where I had gone down, just to try to make it look like something had landed previous to me going down, because in the footage of me going down, nothing lands. So you have to make it look like something's landing. So in that regard, you know, then you can legitimize this quote-unquote knockdown, you know? It was very good editing, very well thought out. Then you need plenty of idiot. One thing about a con job, which, mind you, you can't spell Conor without the word con, C-O-N. That's pretty funny, ironic in and of itself. You know, one thing about you need when it comes to a con job is you need a lot of idiots to watch the video. You need a lot of idiots to like be on board here. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of his footing on the shots where I go down, he's not planted on any of the footing, on any of the shots. So you can't get any weight on it. You can't get enough weight on it to drop somebody anyway if you're not really planting like that. You know? He's got 1 foot off the ground, off balance when he's throwing the left hand, and misses. It goes over my head. Then the little short right hook he tries to throw inside when he's holding the back of my neck. His back leg is sliding off to the side. So you're throwing a hook with your back leg off to the side, you know, and not planted. You're not going to get any leverage on it anyway. But anyway, that shot misses regardless. So it was a very difficult edit for them to put together. That's why it took 10 days. Must have been very difficult for them to find any part of the spar where they had an advantage, because they couldn't even, like I said, you get 1 minute on Instagram. I'm sure you know this. You get a full minute of video on Instagram. They couldn't find 20 seconds running concurrently that he had an advantage of, a distinct advantage, where you could just let the 20 seconds in a row play and you could see his dominance. That is what they were working with, and it took them 10 days to put that together. I thought it was pretty pitiful, honestly, but in reality, KUGAN, it's almost cute. It's adorable, because, you know, they're trying so hard, you know, because, yes, let's face it, most people don't think he's got a shot. Most people actually laugh at him, especially after you saw the media workout. They're laughing at the guy. You know what I mean? The guy doesn't even know how to throw a punch. So it's almost, he's become like the running joke in boxing. You know, so it's adorable how he's trying so hard to convince the world, like, hey guys, no, I can do this. I can win this fight. And then he starts predicting 4th round knockouts and all that. He thinks he can punch. You know, enough people told him he can punch where he actually thinks he can punch. So now suddenly he says he's giving people concussions in sparring. You know, we're talking about boxing here. In boxing, you don't know how to plant your feet, you know, in order to get the respect of your opponent. I was walking him down for most of the sparring session. You know what I'm saying? The guy doesn't have punching power that's respectable enough and consistent enough in that regard to not make you walk him down. You know, that's my curiosity about everything, you know? And more so than anything, if anything, they gave up their cards in that video. Because what is he constantly doing in that video, Kugan? He's pushing my head down constantly on both edits. Either in the last round edit where he lands a couple of shots, and in the edit where, in the part where I go down, he's pushing my head down constantly. He's throwing rabbit punches. So if anything, they've given up their cards in that he constantly throws rabbit punches and pushdowns. You couldn't find 20 seconds running concurrently where you have an advantage. But even in edited footage, you couldn't find any footage where he's not constantly pushing somebody's head down or throwing rabbit punches. So in reality, they now expose themselves to the refereeing in this fight. And they only have themselves to blame. They shot themselves in the foot because now everybody realizes what this guy does.
Do you think before next Saturday that we're likely to see any more of that footage from that spar? And is that important to you that we do or not really?
Listen, the way they want to edit it doesn't really matter to me. They're going to edit it to look like the advantage, right? I mean, if the full sparring comes out, it's 12 rounds, it's 36 minutes, and Conor's wearing gray shorts the whole time. Because let's face it, they're liable to try to mix up the first sparring with the second sparring and put different footage of different sides, right? And I've already said the first spar was probably his advantage, more so to his conditioning than any kind of skill set he has. But, you know, you need 12 rounds, you need 36 minutes, and you got to count the 36 minutes because obviously after this kind of edit they've put together, anything is possible. Everything is sneaky. You know what I'm saying? You know, they're liable to put one round and switch with another round. Like, it's very, very sneaky. So at this point, does it really matter what comes out for me? No, because I can't really trust what they're going to do. But it'd be nice to see the full unedited 12 rounds and 36 minutes. So I have no problem, and I'm very confident in the fact that I can come out and say and watch that 12 rounds and 36 minutes.
Paulie, this may sound a bit of a stupid question, but I'm assuming you have no access to any of this footage.
Kugan, I have zero access to the footage. I didn't even know they were recording from that angle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought only the security cameras were recording, and that was by process of the fact that they want security cameras in the gym. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a choice but to have security cameras in the gym. When I got to camp, I was told those guys were just taking pictures. But in today's technology, you can have a camera that takes pictures and records with the same camera. So I didn't really pay attention to it. I was told they were just taking pictures. So I thought they were just taking pictures. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like I said, if you put together the 12 rounds in 36 minutes, if you just release it, I know what happened. But at this point, with the great editing job they did, like I said, they made a nothing moment seem like it was an everything moment. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, in the end, they're going to shoot themselves in the foot because now the constant fouling and dirt fighting that he does with the holding behind the head, the rabbit punching, which is a serious thing in both MMA and boxing. You know, in boxing, we had a guy like Richard Colon who got damaged heavily because of the rabbit punches. So, you know, it's a very serious thing in our sport. Now, people are onto him. You know what I'm saying? People are onto him. In that 12-round sparring, Joe Cortez is there to work as a regular referee. So if I go down, he's going to count it as a knockdown if it's a knockdown. If I go down as a slip or a push down, he's going to count it as a no knockdown. That's what he did. But they edited that part out too. If you did that good, why are you needing to edit it? Just show the footage of the knockdown and show the referee counting me. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the referee would do. Because in reality, the referee in the late rounds, I don't know which round it was, but in the late rounds, he took a point from Conor McGregor. Granted, there's no real scorecards, but he was refereeing as if it was a real fight, and he takes a point from Conor McGregor for pushing behind the head and rabbit punching. You know what I'm saying? So now the cat's out of the bag. You know what I'm saying? They've let the cat out of the bag themselves. They've only hurt themselves with this footage because now, you know, the powers that be are going to know, hey, listen, this guy doesn't fight cleanly, and we're going to be on him. He did it to himself. Paulie,
on social media, you've challenged Conor McGregor to a fight. How serious are you about that?
You're breaking up, dude. You're breaking up.
Can you hear me, Paulie?
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
All right. I said on social media, you seem to have sort of challenged Conor McGregor to a fight. How serious are you about that?
How do I feel about that?
Yeah, how serious are you about fighting Conor McGregor?
I'm dead serious because here's the thing. If you don't like somebody, you either fight them or you don't mention them at all. You know, you either make sure that they get no press at all because you know this whole media storm came because this idiot was putting out videos and pictures of me. So then the storm is going to come at me, you know, and people are going to ask me, you know, what's this about? So you either ignore me altogether, or don't give me any press because there was no need to ignore. I wasn't bothering them, or you fight me. You know what I'm saying? So because if you don't like genuinely don't like somebody, you hit them with the small gloves. You know, you want to crack them. You know, you don't bring anybody in for a spar. That's like a creepy, weird thing, don't you think? Don't you think that's like creepy and weird? Like, I think it's adorable that the guy thinks he hits hard when he does it. You know, remember when you're like 6 years old, you think you play Superman, and you think like, oh man, you know, I can fly. You know, you pretend you can fly, and you can pretend you can do anything. You know, Conor's like an adorable 29-year-old. Like, he's almost like a 7-year-old where, you know, he thinks he can punch. He's in his mind, he's giving people concussions in training camp. He's dropping people in sparring, you know, like, you know, knocked down in sparring, and real guys who hang out in boxing gyms all year round, even in heavily violent sparring gyms, they happen a handful of times a year. In all sparring, hundreds and thousands of sparring sessions in a gym. You know, a knockdown happens rarely, you know? So I think it's adorable that he's suddenly knocking people over, he's living and giving concussions. He's like the little engine that could. You ever had the story of the little engine that could, Kugan? You know?
I don't believe I have.
Legend was doubted by everybody, you know, and he's trying so hard to convince everybody that, no, man, I can do this. I'm beating everybody up. I'm the strongest guy out there. He's like the little engine that could. You just want to give him a hug. You know what I'm saying, Coog? I just want to hug this guy, this poor guy, because he's trying so hard, and I just want to tell him, buddy, it's going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to get paid good money for the fight. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you get your ass kicked, you're going to get a nice check. So, you know, don't worry about trying to convince everybody that you can fight. You know, even if you can't do it, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Your life's going to go on. You're going to be okay. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he needs a hug from somebody, you know, because he's trying so hard. It's almost like he's stressed out, you know, and I feel like somebody got to go over there and give him a hug.
Paulie, just finally, in your opinion, how competitive is this fight going to be, considering that you have sparred with Conor McGregor?
I can't talk about the competitiveness of it because, you know, I work for a network that's selling pay-per-views, so I can't go one way or the other, you know. But there's, you know, from a tactical standpoint, you know, I'll get more into it on fight night. Obviously, you favor the boxer, but, you know, reasoning why and tactical stuff, I'll get into it more on fight night.
Okay, we can leave it there then, Paulie. Listen, thank you very much for doing this. I'm sure we're going to catch up with you next week at some point. So
for sure, should be a very interesting week. I'll say that.
Definitely, Paulie Malignaggi. Thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. And like I said, we'll catch up with you fight week.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, geezer.
Cheers.